Welcome to Art History, Gothic Europe. Europe around 12,000. Gothic was originally a disparaging term applied to medieval art and architecture by Italians in the 16th century, who considered it crude. In actuality, the art produced in the High Middle Ages between 1140 and 1500 is highly original, expressive, and technically innovative. The finest achievement of the era is the Gothic cathedral, epitomized by the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Chartres, France. Here we find the characteristic features that set Gothic cathedrals apart from earlier buildings. Pointed arches, masonry ribbed vaults, blind buttresses, and brilliant colored glass windows. The Gothic cathedrals in England are less vertical than their French counterparts, but the English builders pursued unique decorative features such as fan vaults and pendants. In the Holy Roman Empire, German sculptors continued to employ the heightened emotionalism that had been established in the Ottonian period. Throughout Europe, artists in the Gothic era also produced remarkable examples of metalwork, relief sculptures, and manuscript illumination that illustrate Christian themes and increasingly include representations of secular figures. West facade of the Abbey Church of Saint Denis in France. The ambulatory and radiating chapels, Abbey Church Saint Denis in France. Abbot Suger introduced the Gothic style in the Abbey Church of Saint Denis. He wanted to establish a unique French style of architecture. Gothic architecture varied in style between France, Germany, and Italy. The interior ambulatory and radiating chapels of Saint Denis. Pointed Gothic arches were able to span irregular areas with ceilings of the same height. Rib vault ceilings were of a more level height than domed vault ceilings. Early Gothic Chartres Cathedral. The bell towers were built at different times. The average time to build a cathedral was 80 years. Aerial view of Chartres Cathedral in France. Royal portal of Chartres Cathedral. The figures of kings and queens flanking Chartres Cathedral's three doorways constitute the most complete survival ensemble of early Gothic sculpture. Lyon Cathedral, with the newest innovation, a triforium, a band of arcades below the clerestory windows. Interior of Lyon Cathedral, looking northeast. Nave elevations of four Gothic cathedrals of the same scale, at the same scale. Notre Dame, Paris, France, with blind buttresses, which served to support the height of the nave. Workers are honored in Chartres stained glass windows. Architects, workers, artists were anonymous because it was prideful to boast. The rose window of Chartres Cathedral, Chartres Cathedral has retained most of its stained glass. High Gothic sculptures on the south transept doorway at Chartres are more naturalistic and look like portraits of real individuals. Reims Cathedral in Reims, France. The high Gothic facade of Reims Cathedral, stained glass windows replaced the stone relief sculpture of earlier facades. Cutaway view of a typical French Gothic cathedral. Sainte-Chapelle, Paris, seemed to be constructed of windows. It is the masterpiece of the Rennet style of High Gothic age, built for Louis IX, the St. Louis of history. Virgin and Child, known as the Virgin of Paris, at Notre Dame, stands in the exaggerated S-curve typical of the late Gothic sculpture. Mary and Child are humanistic rather than classic figures. St. Maclou Cathedral is in the High Gothic flamboyant style. Carcassonne, France, is a Gothic fortified town restored by Eugène Voyer de Goutte in the 19th century. The city's walls are Visigoth, dating from the 6th century. Carcassonne is a tightly contained complex of castle, cathedral, and town within towered walls. The Hall of the Cloth Guild, Bruges, Belgium. A new class of wealthy merchants became prominent. House of Jacques Coeur, a wealthy financier in Bourges. In the Gothic period, God was seen as architect of the world. Blanche of Castile and Louis IX. Master Henri, linear treatment of hair, his figure swaying elegant postures, are typical of Parisian painting of the time. Artist Jean Prousse painted this Belvedere breviary and depicted the receding coffers of the barrel vault over David's head. Stage sets were common in Italian painting, where Prousse had made a trip to study. Figures based on geometric shapes. Queen Jeanne d'Avril donated this silver gilt and enamel statue. It is known as the Virgin of Jeanne d'Avril. A casket or jewelry box of carved ivory depicting chivalry and jousting. An English world map. English Gothic styles, Salisbury Cathedral, Salisbury, England, emphasizes linear pattern and horizontally instead of the vertical. Edward II remodeled and installed a perpendicular style tomb in Gloucester Cathedral. Pronounced fan vaults and hanging pendants resemble stalactites in the Perpendicular style and are featured in the chapel of Henry VII, Westminster Abbey. Nicholas Verdun was leading artist of the late 12th century. Sculptures of individuals, Edelhard and Ute, patrons of Naumburg Cathedral, Naumburg, Germany. The Bamberg writer stands apart from the architecture.